What's up, guys? Bear with us 1 second.
I see it's now streaming live.
Yeah, we got
it. I thing. Yeah. Woo!
Hold on, I'm missing the screen for some reason.
There
we go. Okay, cool. What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for joining us.
What's happening?
What's up?
Cool.
So the YouTube follows a little bit behind.
Yeah, it's about a 20-second lag. Yep, that's right. So cool. We're gonna have the live chat over here on the right-hand side. We can take our masks off now. We just kind of wanted to joke around about our personal protective equipment.
I think you win the award for the most fashionable, and Sarah wins the. Is that a lizard on your?
Yeah, it's my basilisk. This is my N95. This is legit right here. But look at, I made it Mosko oriented.
You win the most effective mask. I think that's like you probably sell that on eBay for $100.
Pete, is that a kid's mask? Is there smiley faces on there?
It has little smiley faces, and it's so tight that it ears forward. It makes me look even more like Obama.
It's like, oh, that's cute.
Our proper personal protective equipment and sanitizer for the meeting.
Should that be going live?
Huh?
Don't
worry about this. Yeah, this is just for the chat. That's
all right, I'm
me.
just sanitized too.
Cool. So thanks for joining us, guys. This is our very first live stream, and we're super excited to kick off the tour. We've got a lot of really exciting announcements tonight. But first, we just kind of want to dive into what's going on at Mosko, like quarantine diaries style. What's up? How are we all handling this? Yeah. So Pete,
I think it'd be really interesting too. Towards the end of this, we're gonna open it up so people can come on, and I think we'll actually see them on video, and so we can invite you in and you can join us. We're very interested in hearing how other people are navigating this whole thing too. And personally interested in hearing from other business owners, you know, how you're dealing with it. For us, I think this has definitely been one of the more challenging situations I've ever encountered in my career. I had a really tough time back in 08, 09 with the business I was running then. This is also very challenging, but very different because of how suddenly it's hit. So I think basically what's happened for us as a business is we've had a lot of growth in the last 4 or 5 years or 6 years or however many years it's been now. But we were sort of on this one growth trajectory that we've just been charging. And when the thing hit, let's call it on or about March 15th, when the awareness in the United States really took a big step up because we were a little bit, I think, behind the rest of the world. We saw this really shift from this one trajectory to this other trajectory. And so our sales kind of adjusted from being really on track for our budget or ahead of our budget to being maybe 2/3 of our budget. And so that was a big adjustment. And I'm happy that they didn't go to zero like they did. Thank you. Yeah, thank you all of our customers, you know, everybody who's still out there tinkering with their bikes and supporting us. We really appreciate it. But that was an adjustment. You know, anytime you go from, it's not like the restaurants who have seen sales, I think, go to nearly zero, but it's still a big adjustment to go to 65% of what you thought you were going to do. And if your sales are come down that much, then your expenses have to come down that much too, and your cash flow has to adjust as well. And so that's been the process for us as a business. So we've kind of got, there's only so many ways that money sort of leaves the company. I mean, obviously we buy inventory, manufacture inventory, so we have money that goes out to landlords and lenders. We have loans with banks for equipment, for inventory, loans with the Small Business Administration from when we started the company. And then we have all of our operational expenses and we have our payroll. So all of those things had to sort of come down proportionately. So in terms of our payroll, the whole team, obviously we're working from home. But we're also all on reduced salaries. Myself and Andrew included, everyone is on a reduced salary, kind of a furlough situation. All of our operating expenses, we've got a complete spending freeze on right now. So, you know, one-off things are all having to go through an approval process that they wouldn't have before. All of our kind of budgeted expenses like marketing, graphic design, stuff like that, all of that has been adjusted as well. We're working with our landlords to get discounted rent. We're working with our lenders to get deferrals on payments. You know, just basically everybody that's part of this extended kind of community is pitching in and doing a little bit to help kind of get the business through this. And that's kind of what's happened. And so far, everyone has been great to work with. Our vendors have given us extended terms. You know, the idea is to get through this period, whatever it is, if it's a couple months or if it's, you know, half a year or if it's a year and a half, get through it and then have like get back to where we were before, you know, with a vibrant, growing business and all the excitement and all the product development and all the things that come along with that. And in the meantime, to kind of manage through it. So that, I think in the big picture, you know, that's my perspective on it, how we're handling it as a business. We're taking it very seriously. We're not going into it with the assumption that, hey, in a month from now, everything's going to go back to normal. We're not anticipating that. We're anticipating that there's going to be the virus itself and then the economic fallout from the virus. And both of those things are going to be serious and material, and that we would need to hunker down and make sure the business gets through it in a healthy way and then come out on the other side and get back to business as usual. That's so that's that. As a business owner, that's my perspective, and I'm very curious in hearing from other people how they're managing it with their businesses. And I've reached out to all the different business owners I know, and we've all had chats about how they're dealing with it, and just kind of comparing notes here and there. So you know,
yeah, I mean, the industry seems to be doing pretty well as a whole. Just in case anyone who's listening is interested.
Yeah, I mean, I think my take on that is, you know, we're very, very lucky that this activity of motorcycling is something that people are still doing. It's not, or at least still planning, you know? So if you have a motorcycle in the garage, but you had like a cruise planned or a flight, or you're gonna go to Italy with your family this summer or something like that, all of those plans have been canceled. And it's pretty natural for, I think, people to focus on the thing that they can do, which is the motorcycle. And so people are either still riding, depending on where they live, or they're thinking they're going to do as soon as the restrictions start to lift. And so I think there's a lot of, and Sarah, I'd love to get your take on this too, because you're much closer contact right now. I feel so crazy. Like normally it's such a big part of my role is being out in front of people, like interacting face to face. And it's driving me crazy that I'm not doing that right now, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, canceling all the shows like March 13th or March the 15th, I think is when we did that. That was just like, wow, just kind of wild to think about. And definitely I'm missing it. I mean, that is just like, it's just so fun. And we get to see, you know, put faces to names. And it's definitely been such a challenge to kind of shift gears and not see each other in the office, because we all just like play off each other and just get along so well. We have so much fun. Jen and Paulina, part of my team upstairs in like rider support and service. I mean, it's just, we kind of intermittently see each other in passing, but man, we've shifted gears immensely. I mean, I think one of the main things that we've really tried to do is, you know, when more like consultation emails come in, instead of just replying by email, just picking up the phone. And it's just made a huge difference. I feel like right now, just the shift into sort of this virtual reality that we're in, like people absolutely want to connect. I mean, they want to talk about the fact that they're like, okay, well now I'm sitting in my garage and I'm looking at my bike and I'm ready to put shit together, you know, they're stoked. But then also kind of talking about the lay of the land, you know, we have customers all over the world and everyone is going through this. And there's this unity with both this like COVID experience and this moto distancing experience, whether it's something that they're planning now just to like get out of the house or if it's a future trip. And it's just been incredible. I mean, I think I've just been blown away about how the consistency of like traffic that we're seeing of people just wanting to, outfit their bikes or just like call in and chat. It's been great. I mean, it's surprising, like so surprising. I didn't expect it, you know.
Everyone's looking out on the horizon, you know, everyone's looking out at what's after this. Like, what do we have to look forward to, right?
Totally.
Yeah, totally. And it's nice in motorcycling. Not only is it compatible with like social distancing. I mean, maybe not right now while things are really locked down, but when the restrictions start to lift, you know, you're kind of by yourself, your face and hands are covered, you know, you're headed away from crowds, not towards crowds. So that's nice. And then it's also nice that it requires like no advanced planning at all. You know, you don't, unlike flights and cruises and, you know, Disneyland and stuff, you don't need tickets. You don't have to make your reservations weeks and months ahead of time. So everybody knows when the restrictions lift, we can go do this. You know, I mean, I know we're like sitting around hatching plans, talking about all the stuff we're going to do as soon as we can, you know, and I feel like other people are going through that as well.
Yep.
You know, I think, what about, you know, Ash, one of the interesting things has been seeing all the new online activity, you know, with social media and stuff like that. You know, obviously in-person events are usually a huge part of our business. A lot of that's transferring online. What's been your take on all that?
I mean, I think the best thing that anyone can do right now, and what's been really fun for us, is just like genuine interaction with whoever is ready and ripe for it. You know, like right now, everyone is at home with a lot of time on their hands. And I think anything that a business was doing before, as far as marketing or a certain trajectory in that area goes, you have to scrap everything in a moment like this and just let the focus be the world at large, and just realizing and talking about the fact that we're all in this together, like riding the roller coaster. You know, some days you can't wake up and have like a slamming social media post every single day when your vibe is just not there. Like, I think it's so important to remember, for myself, Brandon, from up about this, that like behind social media is a human interaction. That's like, so right now the world is grieving, like the world is in a very, very weird state. And so I think that just, you know, continuing on with our transparency as far as just being real with where we're at, where our heads are at, what we're doing, that's really important. And then also letting this be a fun time for experimentation, like what we're doing right now. I mean, we have no clue what we're doing. Oh no, there was a baby in the background. That's why I got up and closed the window. Sarah, Spencer pointed out your little Mosko guy in the background there.
I was like, I'm gonna slap that guy right there on the wall behind me, and at least put a little Mosko in the room. Also my water glass.
What do you think of our background in the conference room? I think this makes a good background for
It's great.
live stuff. It's funny that this is just here. We're just in our conference room, but it works pretty well as a backdrop.
Yeah. Hey, Ash, just real quick, because I have a couple texts coming in on my phone of what link that people can go to find the streaming, because they have the link to the YouTube, but not to the actual streaming. Is there a specific link that they can go to?
It should just take them there if they go to that moscomo.to/live1. It should take them there.
It still says on YouTube the event will begin in a few moments.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got a text just saying that it wasn't streaming. So I just wanted to double check that before we.
Yeah, I don't know I'm not sure what's going on with that, but there's a bunch of people here watching right now. I know I'm interacting with them, so.
Perfect, okay, great. Yeah,
Did I change the link?
So it's MOSKO.
Yeah, let's not worry about any technical stuff like that right now. I think that if someone's trying to join, they should just go to our YouTube channel and it should show them immediately, like default to our YouTube channel. Yeah, I'll work on that. Okay. Yeah, let's continue. Nobody who's watching wants to hear us talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes. I think just that's kind of our update from the inside. If anyone has questions, oh yeah, okay. So there's some confusion. This is our first live stream, so bear with us, everyone. But what's happened is there's now 2 live streams. There's a link. There's a link that we posted early that I think is still saying going live or upcoming. So there are people waiting there, but the actual live stream came onto a different URL. So I can go in and change the redirect, but yeah, if you guys want to continue talking while I change the redirect, then that can solve our problem.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, live stream awkwardness, cool.
So Pete.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, what have you guys been, I mean, you guys just ended up buying a house in the midst of this transition. So have you been staying busy? Just kind of like what have you got going on up there to stay busy?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was funny. Like I've been in the same house since 2005. this little tiny house, or 2006, which I bought at what seemed like the peak of the market in 2006. And I thought, oh, I'm such a terrible, real estate investor, which is true. And I bought it, and then I just like sat there and watched the entire world collapse in 2008 on, and I was like, God, I'm such a dummy. And then this time, after 15 years, in the same place, Ash and I finally decided, well, we'd like to have a yard and maybe a garage and things like that, which we didn't have. A very small house. It was really designed for our life on the road. It was almost like a hotel room that we came back to. And so we decided, okay, it's finally time. Late last year, we started shopping for a house. We found this beautiful place that we fell in love with.
Yeah.
And they were doing a remodel on it. And so we made an agreement to buy it in December. But it didn't close until March. And the day that we signed on the new house, the market dropped 2,000 points. So it was like an absolute, I feel like my timing is getting better. Last time I predicted the collapse of the market, within like a year and a half. This time I predicted the collapse of the market to the day. So if you want to know if you want to like watch my real estate decisions, you could probably make a lot of money selling the stock market short. That I seem like I'm like the world's worst real estate investor. Ash and I, but we're very happy. We got this new place. It's got land. It's got a garage. So
we're building a trail.
Yeah, we have a trail. We built a trail on it. So it's got like a quarter mile, which doesn't sound like very much, and it's not. But the house is it's 5 acres, and it's on a very steep incline.
I mean, it's kind of a lot to build. Building a quarter-mile trail, I'm sure you're like, oh.
A lot of like.
It's a lot, for sure.
Stuff like that. But it's actually really cool because we can just go out and like hop on our dirt bikes and do this it's actually a pretty fun single track loop, and it's got some really steep hills and some challenging bits. So that's cool. And, we're trying to be good about not going out on the local dirt bike trails and not going out on the mountain bike trails.
Which is hard.
Which is hard because they're like right there. And
1 block away. I look at it and I'm just like, oh God, I know I think everyone is really feeling that. But I think something really special and kind of beautiful that I've been really noticing is, we're always, especially here in the gorge where there's just like, skiing and biking and hiking and kiting and everything, that people are always going somewhere else, like onto the water, onto the trail. And I've just been really getting this different sense of community, like in my neighborhood, of just neighbors. Everyone's walking the streets. Everyone's like just kind of relegated to the neighborhoods and walking around. And I just have found it to be, everyone's like really making a lot of effort for eye contact and like just saying hi. And it's really different. And it's so much more community that I've ever felt. And I've explored more of white salmon in this last week than I have in 3 years. So there's that. It's pretty funny.
Totally. It's a trip. I mean, I like everyone, I find this whole thing, it's hard. It's really hard to swallow. Like, it's really easy to think of this as being this thing that's happening somewhere else to someone else. And it's been that way since day one, when it was like, well, it's in Wuhan, and then it's in China, and then it's in, it's Italy. And now it's like, oh, it's in New York, it's in the city.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to keep making that assumption until it's like right on your doorstep, and I have noticed the circle tightening in terms of the people that I know that have gotten sick or have people that are struggling through this right now has gotten closer and closer to where we are. And it's easy to feel safe out here in a small town in the countryside, but I'm really trying to fight that urge and to be good about it. And I noticed that, everybody is kind of bending rules in their own way. It seems like, some people, and so I'm really trying I'm trying to remember when I see other people doing things that seem flagrantly inconsistent with the guidelines, that I also am doing that. Maybe I made a trip to the grocery store to buy something I didn't really need, or a trip to the home improvement store to get some paint so we could paint.
It's real easy to get judgy right now, to like look around and at what other people are doing and be like, what the hell? Can you believe that person?
Yeah.
But Pete keeps urging me to do this thing. Like, hey, check yourself. We're all bending the rules, and it's so true. Like, if we really analyze our behavior, like, okay, I went to the grocery store to get stuff to make peanut butter cookies yesterday. Was that really necessary? Probably not.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so, but the net effect of everyone, even though everyone's bending the rules, they're also largely following the rules. And that is creating this like national benefit, And I think in the absence of any real enforcement of the quarantine, like people actually writing tickets or, getting a little bit more aggressive with the enforcement of it, That's pretty good. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we're doing pretty good. I look around, I go through White Salmon, and I see people talking from a distance
Yeah.
in the store. Everyone's kind of keeping their space. You know, we had a guy come to work on our internet connection today, and like you just find you're standing 4 or 5 feet back. And when he left, I sanitized my hands, and I'm sure he did too. It's weird, but
And I think that's one interesting thing is we're talking about the judgment piece is that, on the flip side of that I've really noticed is that everybody is realizing that they just don't have to take certain things, certain perceptions personally. Like when we're walking towards each other and I cross the street, people aren't like, what the hell's her problem? They're like, okay, I get it. I like that. I like that, like, people aren't taking things personally, that we all really understand that we have very personal boundaries on this whole thing, and I really like that. There's a certain non-judgment that I've really seen come from the majority of people. I am concerned specifically about my extroverted single friends. I'm like, oh, what the fuck are they doing? They're like freaking out, like at home, like, I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to somebody.
Sexting. So much sexting.
So much
FaceTime. Are people still like doing online hookups and stuff like that? I mean, is that thing still happening? Is
sure.
Tinder still fun?
I bet Chat Roulette, that creepy site where like you would just go on and get like a dick, like literally you go on and dick after dick after dick, like that's all that's on there is like people wanting to hook up in front of each other, but like no faces, just genitals. It's crazy. Yeah. I bet that site is like on fire. I haven't.
Is that site still around?
It's for real.
It's still
it's a real thing.
That's what getting
gosh.
Chat Roulette. That's what it's going to be like at the end of the season. But no dicks, please. Seriously, no dicks. No.
Yeah, let's just make sure we're clear that we don't want that on this show. This is PG-13. I don't know.
That's just crossing lines.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, why don't we get into the tour schedule announcements? I'm just going to spend like 5 minutes here or so kind of going through what you guys have to look forward to. I'm really excited. Tomorrow we will publish all of this in writing to our social channels and up on the website. So everyone can have a list. You don't have to write this down or remember it. We'll publish it in time. And we will get these kinks worked out, by the way, the little streaming issue. I think the streaming is going just fine, but it was the linking.
Is YouTube live?
Everything's fine. Spencer's on it. He's like,
yes, he did. I know. I just sent his link to everyone.
I redirected I had a link redirect set up, and so I redirected it to the correct one. Anyway, so we'll get all that sorted out before the rest of the tour. That's why we have to have a kickoff to work out all the kinks. So anyway, we're going to be doing this every Tuesday and Thursday at the same time. So it's really easy to remember. Just mark your calendars, if you will. And we'll have a new link that'll update. I'm sorry, the same link will update every week. So you can just save the same link that we used and we'll get it right next time. So this Thursday, we're going to have a live product development meeting with Andrew Bryden, who is the co-founder and designer of Mosko Moto. And his nickname is Wildcat. So if anyone during the live stream wants to ask Andrew about his nickname, that would be really fun. So that will be this Thursday at 7 p.m.
And I just want to say something about that.
Yeah.
Andrew, I'm really excited for that. Because I feel
me
like
too.
the three of us are out, like Sarah, Ash, and myself are often, we're out in front of the business a lot more than Andrew is. And Andrew is this like incredibly interesting, intelligent, worldly, funny
dude. Gerardo joined us. Gerardo's in.
Gerardo's on right now? Oh, that's so cool. Well,
hey, Gerardo.
Hi, Gerardo. Yes, we owe him the name of the company, Mosko.
That's a story for another
That's a whole other story. Yeah. But Andrew is just this incredibly interesting guy with an incredibly interesting background, and he works shows a year. But this will be really neat to have him on this thing and to get people interacting with him and for everyone to see.
Yeah, I had the idea. I thought it would just be cool for the community instead of getting comments from people through Instagram and Facebook and ADV Writer like we do all the time. Why not have a live product development meeting? I think it'll be really fun for everyone. So if you've got some ideas for us, get them ready, and we'll have a live stream on Thursday to do that. So that's with Andrew Thursday. Next Tuesday, we'll have a virtual Mosko meetup. That's just going to be like a new product overview and then a Q&A, and we might have something special in store for anyone who joins that. But you'll have to stay tuned. We're not actually going to announce that right now. Then the following Thursday, the 23rd, we're going to interview American Motocross Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath and talk about adventure riding. Jeremy has been adventure riding for a while. We first connected like, I don't know,
oh man,
We'll try not
mixed
to.
it up a
We'll
little
try
bit.
not to be too starstruck. We'll try to keep it together.
Oh geez.
Yeah, we're so stoked. Jeremy, thank you for being
Yeah,
part of
thanks,
this.
Jeremy. So then the following Tuesday will be with Scotty B, a season 2020 apparel sneak peek. So Scott is our apparel director at Mosko. Again, this will be just a moment for us to show you kind of what's coming. And then we'll also let people join for the live stream so that they can ask questions or give comments on the apparel feedback that they already have. So we're excited about that too.
Scotty, another very interesting, very fascinating guy who gets out to a very small number of shows, but I'm also really excited. He was at Patagonia as an apparel designer before coming to Mosko. He was at Dakine, also as an apparel and also a bag designer, backcountry hunter, very, very interesting guy. So I think
and of note, both Wildcat Andrew and Scotty B are both Canadian. Just I throw that out there.
He's a DJ.
Yeah, and he's a DJ.
everybody's a DJ. Sorry, Scotty.
Okay. So then on Thursday the 30th, we have off-road legend Destry Abbott joining us, which I'm also very excited about. We're going to talk DA8 training and quarantine life in Arizona with Destry. So really excited about that.
So cool. Starstruck
So
also.
cool.
Movie star, motorcycle star. Super cool.
If you haven't seen Destry's movie Strong, and you want a little bit more background on who he is and his story, watch it. It's on Amazon. You can download it and check it out before the live stream. So really excited about that. I'm excited about all of them, if you can't tell. So then on the 5th of May, we will interview Chris McCaskill, also known as Baldy, the founder of ADV Writer, and talk to him about where ADV originated. If you don't know this, Baldy actually coined the term ADV, and so we'll kind of talk about that story in a writer.
I'm sorry, I'm just adding subtext for
No,
everybody. I'll shut up after this.
Perfect.
Chris McCaskill is like, when I first started using ADV Writer, I didn't even really know that ADV Writer had an owner and a founder. It just seemed like this kind of community thing. Turns out that this really fascinating guy started it. I mean, he's got this background in tech. He worked for Steve Jobs. He started the photo sharing site SmugMug, which he still owns, which is a privately held business that his son runs. So he's been a really successful guy. And he actually started SmugMug so that you could post photos on ADV Writer. So he created ADV Writer, and ADV Writer has always been this little side project for him. And SmugMug was there to solve a problem, which is how do we post photos on ADV Writer? SmugMug turned into this enormous business with hundreds of employees, and it's sort of the most successful of the various photo sharing sites out there. And ADV Writer, this site that is this incredible community meeting spot for our whole sport, is something he just did in his spare time. And he's a little bit more involved with it now, but really interesting guy. So he's got, he's someone when we start talking, it could just go on forever. He's just a really, really fascinating guy. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we're very, very excited about that.
Now I'm going to stop
for
chiming
sure.
in on every single person.
Nope. You might want to chime in on the next one too. So on the 7th of May, we will have our good friends from Upshift online live with us. And the guys from Upshift, I thought it would be great to do a Who's Behind Upshift. Anybody who hasn't actually met Simon, Chris, or Brandon will really, really enjoy this live stream. They're good friends of ours and just doing awesome things in the industry. If you don't know the magazine, where have you been? Check it out. But yeah, we're very, very excited.
And they're right
about
down the road from us in the Pacific Northwest. And I feel like our Upshift and Mosko have sort of like grown up together. Like we're on the kind of product side, they're on the media side, but we're both, I see a lot of analogies between our business models, and I think we're both doing things really different in a really unique way. And obviously those guys are like close personal friends of ours. We really, really like those guys, respect what they're doing. And so that's going to be really, really interesting. Yeah. And we've learned a lot from them as a business.
On the 12th of May, sorry, 2 more guys, then we're almost done here. So on the 12th of May, we will have our friends Sam and Kate, who are writing friends of ours. What's up, guys? Also, hi to Jonah, who had the idea for this live stream. They were for 5 months down in South America on 2 DRZ 650s, and they actually just returned home like last week. So they were traveling during the COVID outbreak. And anyway, they're awesome folks, and we're really excited to hear about their trip.
And your story of the COVID and getting back to the US and just how that all wrapped up. Real time feedback on sort of how travelers are dealing with this whole situation.
Yeah,
super cool.
Exactly. Okay, sorry, I'm just pasting the notes for people to join the meeting for us. And the last one on the 14th of May, we'll have Quinn Cody, 4-time Baja 1000
Wow.
champion joining for a live stream. Quinn, we've interacted with Quinn quite a few times and talked product development with KTM and cross paths at the KTM rallies for years, but haven't really ever spent time getting to know him. So we're excited to have Quinn on, and I want to talk to him about fourth gear wheelies. That's my number one topic.
Can you give us a lesson, Quinn, on this show? Maybe can we get a mic into the conference room? Yeah,
Exactly.
What an honor. Thank you, Quinn, for being part of this, man. So
Totally.
cool. This is crazy. This is like an all-star cast. I can't, I'm a little bit like, ooh, oh my. Oh my.
Okay, so I'm pasting the meeting notes in here right now for other people to join. So if you guys want to just kind of keep things going for a sec while I get this in here.
Sarah, so we probably do more in-person events. That sounds boastful, but we do an insane, I was going to say we do more events than hardly anybody in the industry. I mean, we have a crazy number of events. I don't know if that's really true that we do more than others.
Yeah, but over 30. I mean,
It's
easily over 30.
We have a lot.
Mhm.
We had 42 events on the calendar for this year in total. 42 events on what, 3 different continents. And now we have none. Right? I mean, I'm sure some of those will end up happening, if things loosen up. But you were in charge of setting all those up and managing them. I'd love to hear your kind of take on, like what a shift, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird to watch like 6 months of effort just like poof, just kind of like go away. But at the same time, all of those conversations for all the different events, different moto cafes and, March Moto Madness and some of the bigger events, all of those conversations were just so meaningful. They happened on the week of March 13th, 14th, and 15th, all the events we had all the way through May. It's funny, I've been totally getting pinged because I couldn't actually cancel one of my Expedia flights because you couldn't get into Expedia. You'd literally like call Expedia and it would say, we're experiencing technical difficulties and hang up on you. And just this massive, like, everything crashed. And so I kept getting pings for all my travel. And I was like, oh my God, I'd be in Tennessee right now. Oh, I'd be in Florida right now. Oh, I'd be in Kansas City right now. Literally up until last week. I was like, holy crap, I was supposed to be traveling so much. But it's just so wild. I think everyone's like really kind of chomping at the bit for these live events because they just are so fun. I mean, we just get to interact and talk gear. And then especially for like smaller events like Rawhide, March Moto Madness, where people get on their bikes and they go ride and they get to test gear and they get to like really interact with the product as well as the people. Those are the ones I think are really, going to hit home when they get back on the schedule for sure. So
that was wild. I mean, we were at Rawhide when all this kind of went down. We were at their Zakar facility in the Mojave Desert. We were actually at an event, and it was sort of like between a Thursday and the following Monday, the awareness level in the United States went from like totally silent to 11. Yeah, that's what it seemed like, right? And we sort of went into that event thinking we were going to go from there to Utah. And then
we were supposed to have Tim with us in Salt Lake.
Tim was coming to Tim Burke was coming to Salt Lake. And then we were going to go out to March Moto Madness in Tennessee, and then we were going to go to Florida, and then we were going to go to Kansas City, and then we were going to go back to the Northwest. And in the course of that 4 days, we went from canceling. First, we canceled the Tennessee, Florida, and Kansas. Then we canceled Salt Lake. And then we canceled everything. And then,
we weren't sure. We were thinking maybe Salt Lake City could still happen. Crazy enough, the day we
have our first person trying to.
Ooh, cool.
Got them in. Okay.
Oh, sorry to cut you off there, Sarah.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I got excited.
Whoa.
This is all very exciting. Okay. Oh man. Okay. We gotta go. First person, and we're gonna do a few minutes per person, and then we'll switch it up.
Okay.
Okay, and if we have, I meant Tracy.
Hey guys.
What? So where are you? You're on a tropical beach somewhere.
Yeah, not really. I'm in Reno. I just know how to work Zoom.
Oh, I love these virtual backgrounds.
It's so cool.
If you can't travel, I figured that was a lot more interesting than my office wall.
Yeah, I need to do this. Yeah.
What's going on, Tracy? What's up, man? Tell us what's going on in Reno.
We are just sheltering in place like good people. Our daughter is pregnant. She escaped from California, came up to live with us. So we're abiding by every rule known to man to try and keep her safe. So I'm not going anywhere. We do the once a week trip to the grocery store. That's about it.
Yeah.
Once a week trip to the grocery store. And okay, so you and Diane are together. Is anyone else with you? Who's on your quarantine?
So our daughter from California and her husband, she's 4 months pregnant. So she
Okay.
felt like she wanted to escape from San Francisco and come up here because, we live out, the closest house to us is like hundreds of yards away.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we're
you guys
kind
have
of-
a
this
little paradise there.
is a great place to be isolated if you got to be isolated.
Do you have some property?
Just a couple of acres, but the couple of acres on either side of us is empty as well. So we've got hiking trails straight out our back door, and
Beautiful.
we can kind of wander around all day and not see anybody here, which is nice.
What does a typical day look like for you guys right now?
Dog walking for a couple of hours. I'm becoming the master of Sudoku.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Not really. I wish I was, but and then just doing stuff around the house, wishing that I could do stuff around the house or more stuff. Diane says hi, by the way. She popped in and out a little while ago.
Diane, why isn't she on here with you?
She will come back in a second, I'm sure.
Okay, good.
And are you doing home improvement projects?
Yeah, nothing great. I mean, our house is fairly new, so literally just gardening and stuff that, now it's kind of stuff is starting to turn green again. We live up in the mountains, so it's been snowing on and off every now and again. So snow's kind of gone away again this week. So
If we have any customers or anyone in the riding community who works in home improvement or has information on the stores, I would love to know what sales have been like since quarantine began. Because
oh yeah.
everyone's just buying paint or going to the store to.
So our son-in-law works in online advertising, pop-up ads and stuff, and their business is insane because everybody's on the internet all day, every day.
Really?
Business is booming for some folks.
Yeah, they're crushing it. Home Depot's crushing it.
Yeah.
Ace Hardware, crushing it.
I wonder if their sales are really up or if they're just, because I think this is always a busy time for them. I've asked a couple of times, at the Ace and at the Home Depot, hey, is this, and they've kind of indicated that it's not quite as busy as it would normally be, even though it seems very busy to me. The parking lot's crowded, there's a lot of people in the store, but I think that's pretty normal for a Saturday in the spring. And so I think I wonder if they're really crushing it or if they're just sort of doing, they're doing okay, right? They're doing better.
Yeah, I doubt anybody's crushing it just because people are avoiding it. I mean, you still go there occasionally, but most folks are avoiding.
I tell you who I think is crushing it, the people that make bidets.
Yes. Seriously,
Yeah.
I had to place it a couple of weeks ago. Then I got a notification that the order was being canceled because they couldn't fulfill. And then today I was able to go online and actually purchase it. There was only one. They have 15 different models and colors and stuff available. And there was only one, the white with bamboo, the most boring one. And I'm a little concerned because there's no temperature control. So it's going to be really cold. I'll have to update you guys on that.
Yeah, I would like an update later on the day status for sure.
If anything,
Yeah, I'm not sure I want that update. Thanks, guys.
you have to wait 6 months to get it.
The company has a great name. It's called Hello Tushy.
Oh my gosh.
So here's someone else. I think, the other thing is we wanted to get some kettlebells for exercising, the heavy things that you can do different exercises. I don't really know much about them, but my friends use them.
Wait, did you just go
Yeah,
this for a
I
kettlebell?
I did that and I realized that was probably wrong. But
No, it's more like a swing.
so
He did just say he didn't know much about them. Asking us.
Yeah, they're totally sold. They're all reporting delays, or they're sold out, or huge backlogs because of the demand. Because everybody has the same idea. They want to exercise at home.
Yeah. The other people making a killing of the toilet paper, folks, but of course no one's actually using more of that than they usually do. So 6 months from now they'll be out of business because no one's going to be buying any. Once this is all over, they've all stocked up.
Who will be out of business in 6 months?
The toilet paper company.
Toilet paper guys, because everybody's bought it now. You know,
Yeah.
those people you see leaving the store with like 50 rolls of it, they're not
Yeah,
coming
there's
back to
gonna
buy
be a
it.
huge glut.
They have
at
these
some
huge
point.
inventories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole supply chain is so like tightly coupled, I mean, the machines and there's no back stock in the stores because it's so
Yeah.
bulky.
It's all just in time stuff.
Yeah. What would
Oh, I got some.
You guys are freezing every
Yeah,
now
there we
and again.
go. Oh, they're still frozen. I'm not frozen. Hi, Tracy.
Sorry.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, I like your little product placement gecko behind your head there.
My little
Very
basilisk.
strategic.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I
I was
found
like,
out
this is
why.
such a boring wall. I better stick like a sticker up there. And I was like, I got one on my water glass.
Yeah, Sarah, you got all blinged out before the meeting.
I
Hey,
did.
Tracy, it's great to see you. We're gonna let someone else in.
Sure.
Nice to see you, Tracy.
See you guys.
Really great to
Bye,
see
Tracy.
you. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye.
That
Yeah.
was cool. That was so cool.
It's so fun. I love
Okay. Okay, here we go. So I'm not gonna say, I'm doing my best at not saying who's coming. Okay, we're connecting to audio. That worked
Johnny.
flawless.
John.
Oh,
John Y.
John, do we have you?
Where's John? John E. or John Y.
Yeah. Uh-oh, where's he at? I don't know if that worked. Sarah, do you see it?
Nope.
No? Okay, let's go. Here.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
This is fun.
Robbie.
Robbie.
Oh, Robbie. Oh,
Robbie,
hey.
what's up?
whoa,
Hello.
look at that.
Dude,
Hey.
I'm just hanging out here at the Orgy Dome.
you're a Burning Man.
You're at the Orgy Dome.
What's going on
Have a
there?
good time.
Why are you moving around so much at the Orgy Dome? I can't tell. Your head's going like this.
Well, I'm trying to keep my social distance from everybody here. It's really hard. It's so humid though.
Oh, man. I haven't seen you since, oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm Raleigh. Nice to
Hello, hello.
Hello.
This
Well,
is
I guess I was
interesting.
gonna say we should explain to not burner
This is
people
weird.
what the
Hang on, I
Orgy
gotta
Dome is,
stop
but it's
the
pretty
YouTube.
self-explanatory. This is always
It's
we
a
don't
dome.
need- Oh yeah, close your YouTube screen.
There we go. Hey, hello everyone, and the
Hello.
30 people watching.
That's awesome. How cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys-
So you're obviously, this is a way of the consolation prize for Burning Man being canceled this year. And
Oh man.
Oh man, it's just as sweet.
is it?
It's it's really the best. Just hanging out
Where
here
are you? Are
on
you-
Zoom.
It's probably,
Where am I?
it's probably better than the actual Orgy Dome.
I've never been, to be honest, but I can imagine.
Let's not dive into the Orgy Dome conversations right now. Okay, continuing on.
Anyway,
This doesn't sound very COVID centric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Orgy Dome would have been hard to pull off with the COVID.
Yeah, no doubt.
well, I'm using my
Watching,
quarantine
like,
time to build a chicken
television
coop.
or shows right now that have people hugging each other. Oh, chicken coop.
Yeah,
What?
self-sufficiency. You can have up to 3 chickens here, so I'm gonna build a little coop, go out and eat my eggs in the morning time, and
Dude.
Are
be
you
a little bit less like I have to go to the grocery store.
Plus, chickens are actually really fun to just watch. The way they like run around and stuff. I seriously, I could just sit and watch them do their thing. It's really funny.
They're like little dinosaurs. They're kind of cute, but also creepy.
Yeah, and then you try catching one, and you're like, "How do I catch this thing?" It's
I've actually never held or touched a chicken before, so we'll see how it goes.
oh yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay, I raised animals growing up, and chickens are the most disgusting, like more disgusting than pigs or steer.
What?
Or
They're disgusting.
so I mean the way that they're kept and stuff, and then there's shit everywhere. It's stuck to their feathers, and you have to like hold them upside down, and they're not nice animals.
Well, did
too.
you raise
I think
chickens to
keeping
kill
them at
them?
home is much. I think it's much different, the circumstances, if you're raising them at your house and you can have like a nice chicken coop and
Yeah, it'll be cute. This isn't Tyson. They're gonna be sweet chicken.
Exactly.
Do you bathe the chickens? Do you wash them? Do you have?
Well, I don't have them yet. I just decided to build the coop. I'm gathering materials and tools and figuring out which breeds of chickens to get. I guess chickens are also an industry that's booming. Like
It is.
sold out
Everyone's
of
a
chickens.
baby chick.
Everyone's like, I want a
Definitely.
backyard chicken coop.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it hard to get chickens right now? How do you get it? Where do you get a chicken? Where do
You
you
order them on the internet?
Really?
Yeah.
Where on the internet?
And then they send you chicks, but it's like a 3 or 4 week backlog right now. I'm gonna build the coop and then I'll get the chicks.
Wow.
I'll let you know how it goes.
And so is it like is there some central clearinghouse for chickens? Is there like an Amazon for chickens or an eBay or?
I
No,
don't
it's
know.
like farm to you or something, you know,
Farmdirect.com.
farm direct.
And so how big is the coop?
The coop's gonna be about 6 feet tall and like 30 square feet, and then that's just the enclosure, and then there's a little egg laying area that's gonna be pretty small, like doghouse size.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be
That's so cool.
in
And
there,
what
and then
else
you just reach in and take the eggs out, pluck the eggs out, and I'm gonna have a little camera in there so I can live stream them.
Oh,
You can live stream them so people will watch, like people, or you just want to be able to see them yourself.
Just so I can look at them someday when we get
I
to
had
go.
one of those cameras
So
when I got my first TV, and I just like would watch it.
Yeah, like people have their dog cameras, except
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same.
chickens.
Are you guys doing anything else to kind of live off the land there in Portland?
No,
That's it.
that's it.
Just be self-sufficient in that one area. Just eat a lot of eggs.
Chickens, protein, maybe some sweet potatoes, maybe
what
beans.
what part of Portland do you live in?
I live in 35th and Hawthorne area, but I'm
Southeast.
actually going to be moving down to Sacramento. That's where this chicken plant is going to hatch.
Oh, you're moving soon. Wow.
Sacramento, California.
In like very shortly then.
Whenever I can get all my things together, probably 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Wait, you're building a chicken coop in Portland, but you're moving to Sacramento?
No. I'm going to build the chicken coop in Sacramento, but
Hey,
I'm
Sacramento.
gathering all my stuff to move down there and then build the coop.
That's are you like Sacramento proper or like Roseville or like some circuitous area?
No, I think it's actually a Sacramento address.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's different than Portland.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Oh, Janie's living down there
I
and
knew it.
it's just a little nicer. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad
I mean,
you
it's
guys.
not nicer than Portland, but it's nicer to quarantine with other human beings.
It is.
But is that a permanent move or just a temporary?
It's probably a permanent move.
Oh man, we'll miss you.
We'll see you someday
Yeah.
in the Alboard.
Yeah.
Totally.
The unrally.
So how are you getting by in quarantine other than chicken coop building, Ravi?
It's not drastically different than my regular life.
That's what my little sister says.
It's a little bit, I'm a little stir crazy, but otherwise, yeah, the same.
How many rolls of toilet paper do you have?
We get online deliveries here, so I feel like I probably shouldn't say, because I did say generally where I am in the city, and we might have toilet paper raiders if I let it on.
You might.
If I let everybody know how rich we are with TP. Oh, and also, before this crisis struck,
What do we have?
I don't know if you can see that there, but it is a, oh, come on.
We can't see it.
It's a Neo 320 Lux bidet. This is what the 21st century living, this is what 21st century living is all about. That's what it says right on the box.
That's hysterical.
Hell yeah, you were prepared.
Fantastic.
Ravi, it's good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. I didn't expect to be doing this, but it's good.
Cool.
Good fun.
Well, we're glad you did.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'm gonna head back into
Good
the
luck with
orgy
your
dome
move. We'll
now.
talk to you soon.
It's nice and air
Bye.
conditioned in there. Bye.
All right. All right.
Let's see here. This is cool.
This is super cool. Oh, did we lose Sarah?
No?
Oh,
We got it, Sarah.
I'm here.
It just takes a second while people are joining. Okay.
Where's
Look.
Jonah? Jonah Salloway. I see a name.
Jonah, it says you have no video and no audio. You got like a few seconds to sort it out, or else we gotta switch it up here.
Jonah,
Jonah, click on mute.
unmute, buddy.
Yeah, I can usually do it as the host, but it's not working because I don't think there's anything connected. Okay, bye, Jonah. We love you.
Try, man. Catch up next time.
Okay. Let's see who we got here. Oh, maybe we're gonna get two people. Oh,
Oh, no way. Look at that.
Wade Olson.
What's up?
No way. What's up, Wade?
Wade, what's up, buddy? Oh, close your YouTube. Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, I was closing my
There you
YouTube.
go.
I'm sorry.
Is that a mustache? You want to see a mustache?
I
Yeah,
know.
this is my quarantine mustache.
Oh my God, I love it.
You ran out of razors?
Foreign stash.
No, I mean I still have to shave, but I was like, well, I can't grow a beard for work, so this is my little act of social rebellion.
I love it. I love it, man. It's cool. It's a little tasty.
It really made my day that you brought it up too, because nobody else can see it from a distance because it's so blonde. So I feel vindicated.
It's good, man. A little.
Oh, they froze. Is
Yeah, they
Kelsey
did.
with you too? I see her name on here.
Yeah, she's sitting here right next to me.
Side and the basilisk, like posing, but with the musk blood.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
Yay.
Yeah. Dude, I've been
So,
so
now-
jealous of all of your cooking and these cakes I'm seeing and all these like family competition cooking things. Amazing.
You should also be jealous of the 15 pounds we've gained since being in quarantine.
That's
How much of that is the mustache?
At least 2 pounds.
Very blonde.
I feel like
Yeah.
I haven't had a haircut. I realize that other people look at my hair and they don't think it looks long, but it feels incredibly long to me. And so I feel like a hippie, but I haven't been able to get a haircut in like, what, a month and I haven't had a haircut in a
Okay,
month
this
and a
will
half.
be fun. Pete's been asking me to cut his hair for him. So now that we're doing this live stream, it can be like, let's bookmark his hair today. I'll cut your hair. And then next time on the live stream,
Sweat.
great.
Yes.
This is I was on a call with my family, a Zoom call, and they all said one of them said, "Hey Pete, I really like your hair. I didn't want to say anything because I felt like if I said it, you were going to cut it." And then like 2 or 3 other people on the call said, like, I wasn't going to say anything either because I felt like if I said I liked it, he was going to cut it. And I was like, what's wrong with me that everybody thinks that they tell me they like it? I'm going to cut it. And then we got in this big argument with my mom because my mom and dad live in this this kind of I don't know what you call the kind of place they live.
It's an
like
assisted living facility. They like it was the most graceful transition ever. They moved themselves into this place. It was just amazing to watch.
Nice.
And so it's a really cool spot, but everybody there was on super tight quarantine, and which means my mom can't grocery shop. And and so she hates the food there. And so she's threatening to leave and move into her minivan.
Yes, mom going rebel. Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys
That's
froze.
funny.
We froze.
So
There
So
you
I
are.
have to report, I guess, from earlier conversations, we are also part of the proud bidet owners.
Oh yeah.
Lucky, and we bought ours when we were in Vegas when you guys were at Adventure Days.
Wow. So
They
you
were
had
way
the
ahead.
foresight
Yeah.
to get the bidet.
Because we had 4 rolls of toilet paper at the house after Vegas, and that was after we stole them from the hotel room. So
How is it? How
Okay,
is the experience?
yeah, I want to hear the bidet. I want to hear.
Yeah. So, well, because ours was super weird. I was telling Sarah, so we were in Vegas for a concert, and so we were sitting in the hot tub watching the giant TV that they had there when the NBA canceled the season. So we were in Vegas in
That's
the hot tub,
sick
like out in
though.
public when all this was going down. So we bought it when we were in Vegas. It got to us, I think, later that week. And we have the same one you were just talking about that just, it's super easy to install, and it just, yeah, the Tushy one. and it's magical. Not gonna lie.
Do you have like warm water then, unlike these guys?
No, so
Oh,
it just takes tap water, or the water that would normally refill your toilet like tank.
Mhm.
You basically just put in a valve that reroutes to the bidet. And so it's, I guess, like tap neutral, like it's not lukewarm or cold.
Oh, so you're saying that the water, it's probably true. The water that is flushing through the toilet is probably a little warmer than what you get out of the tap because it's like,
Correct.
Cool. Okay, good. I
That's
was
good to
really
know.
worried about that.
The one thing I will say though is, so the button, you turn it to the right to actually like clean yourself, and you turn it to the left to like clean the nozzle. And there's probably like a good 15 clicks either direction, and you can get to like click 2 and you feel like it's gonna like cut you in half. So like I don't know who setting 15 is made for, but it's not either one of us.
I saw a video of like this family that tested it because they had like a long hallway off their bathroom, and it shot like 15 to 20 feet. It's insane.
Oh my God.
So we just had someone comment, I think this is funny, I'm just gonna bring it up. So Pedro says, gotta go, I'm here for riding, not ass cleaning. So I'm just gonna, everyone can see the live stream, so I think this is funny as shit. Like, anybody who just wants like roosting around corners and like sick ride raw, like that's not us. We're just here to like chat with people and say what. Well, so anyway.
Totally. Obviously, we all ride. That's
Yeah.
That's how we're connected. Are people, speaking of riding, are people still riding down there? Are you riding, Wade?
So I'm still been going into work for the most part. So I've been riding into work. You see a few riders here and there during the weekday. You know, I've taken a couple pleasure rides just like with one other buddy, just to go do street rides, just because all off-roading here is essentially closed.
Mhm.
Because all the public land out here is Forest Service, you know, BLM, like something. So they've closed it all off. But for the most part, all the riders that I have talked to and guys that I ride with are willing to do street rides, but they're already conscious enough that they've taken it down a couple notches. So nobody's out there trying to, you know, drag knee or anything like that. It's much more of a, hey, I'm just going to go ride to get outside and, you know, practice my version of social distancing. And then the only stopping they're doing is stopping to get gas and then moving on.
Mm. Are people, because I texted with a there yesterday, and he said at the off-road areas, there's still a ton of people riding anyway. Have you noticed any of that? Or have you seen bikes and trucks and stuff like that?
I haven't seen bikes and trucks necessarily. Some of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, you know, every day somebody's like, oh, is this OHV open? Is this OHV open? Because some of them are still open. They're just not open for like overnight camping. It's more just kind of day use.
Uh-huh.
I know that a couple of the OHVs actually have, like, the Rangers are out there patrolling
Really?
and are sighting people. Yeah.
Good.
So
It's also rained the last week.
yeah, this last week, this is probably the first nice day we've had in probably 8 or 9 days.
Whoa.
Last Friday, because it rained for a solid week, and then Friday it rained so hard that a lot of the freeways were actually getting closed because of flooding, because there just was nowhere for the water to go because it'd been wet for a whole week. So that kept people off the roads, obviously, for quite a while.
Yeah, been talking to a lot of people in California. Talked to a couple customers in San Diego that were just like going out of their mind because, I mean, everyone down there is just so used to something, you know, and so they're just like, this is like insult to injury, you know. That's
Yeah.
especially even up in Sonoma County where I used to live. Same.
And it was
Froze up there for a minute. Sorry, guys.
So, I mean, it was also kind of weird because everything seemed kind of lax. You know, people were going like to the beach when we're walking on the beach, or surfers would go surf because they're like, hey, like I'm not around by anybody. And then, you know, a couple of weeks ago when everything kind of got turned up, it got real serious real quick. Like surfers were getting fined. The cops were going around and started ticketing people that were sitting in their cars, like watching the sunset. They really kind of cranked down and hammered down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes in California too, just because there's just so many more people, right? And so then
Yeah.
realize they have to take extreme measures. And it's so tough. It's like we were kind of talking about that earlier, it's like we all want to get outside and then, but you're sort of like, God, do I want to be that asshole who's sort of breaking the rules? Even though I'm not around anyone, like, does it make it okay? But then, it's just, it's tough.
It's really,
Yeah.
I think, one thing that we were on the phone with Bill Whitaker just yesterday talking about Idaho and Washington and California and Oregon and all these states that are banding together as talks begin about opening the country back up, whatever that means. I think it's really on all of this, but I want to wait a little bit longer for the progression of information and this sort of opening up to happen again. But man, I think that as riders, we're like more well-positioned than anybody to like get after it as soon as things loosen up a little bit, but do so responsibly. So we've kind of come up with like a little bullet list of like, okay, this is kind of our ethos as far as venturing out again. So we're excited to share that when it seems like it's the right time.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot. There's a lot of riding happening here in the Northwest, like here in the Columbia River Gorge, where this is like a desirable spot. So people come here and go riding, and it's like crazy, man. There's like groups of sport bikes, groups of Harleys, little like groups of dual sport riders, solo riders. I'm seeing posts from friends who I didn't even know had motorcycles, on social media. Our landlord is in the market for a bike right now. Like, there's a lot of riding activity. No judgment. I mean, a lot of people are still riding here. It's pretty interesting.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wade, this is like, I have to say, this is the next best thing to us, like all working events and being out at motorcycle rallies together.
Seriously, it's really cool, man.
This is the whole point for us. I mean, I don't know, just to the comment that was made earlier about the not wanting to hear about ass cleaning or whatever. For us, this is more like, man, we miss everybody. We miss the riding community. We miss being at events. So like, if we can,
She froze up.
Oh.
yeah, if we can like bridge that gap in any way, this is our attempt at doing that, Yeah. Cool. Anyway,
yeah, and I mean,
it's great to see you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that's just to echo what you said. It was weird to think that the beginning of March, like I had a couple of shows with you guys planned, like we had all these things kind of going on, like other events that I was attending personally or for you guys, and then it was just all breaks, all stop, everything's on hold, and it just seems so surreal.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I think we keep freezing up on our end. Yeah, we've had issues here at the shop for some reason, which is crazy because like it's really wicked fast internet, but I don't know what the deal is. We'll get it sorted. Wait,
just kidding.
It was great to see you guys.
So because you're on a Mac.
Yeah.
It's the Mac.
Oh, it's the Mac, right?
It's the Mac.
Wade,
We'll
see you soon.
We'll see you.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, and our last guest, and then we'll end the live stream after that. Ooh, let's see. Hopefully it works this time. Man, the internet connectivity, that's the thing about live streaming though. It's just like, John, what's up?
What's up, John?
John T. Young.
Hey, how are you guys looking?
Out in outer space out there. That's awesome.
That's because my
What do you where are you at? Are you at your house?
where I'm at. Hang on a second. I gotta figure this shit. There we go. All right, I got it.
Cool.
Hey, yeah, I'm in Snowmass, Colorado right now.
All right.
So I think somebody earlier had posted that they were an extrovert single male and they were like going crazy. And so I'm an introvert and I have an essential job. So I go to work normal every day. I'm married. So nothing has changed for me.
What's the job, John?
I'm a 911 dispatcher.
Whoa.
For Picken County. So,
wow.
So yeah, so I go to work every day. Nothing's really changed other than this is start of mud season here in Colorado. So how do you know when it's spring in Utah? The license plates all turn green.
Yeah.
Right. So, but Moab's all closed down. So we got nowhere to go. And
Yeah.
I live in Snowmass at about 7,000, a little over 7,000 feet. So my roads out of my valley only go about a mile, and then they're all cut off by snow. So, so
Whoa.
I've been working on the bike. I can't actually ride it anywhere, but I can work on it. So
Yeah. What are you doing to it?
the latest. So today I put heavier spring on the rear shock.
Hmm.
Because the CRF 450L is a really awesome adventure bike. I love this bike.
Yeah, girl. You guys both
It's
have
a
it.
little, yeah, it's a little undersprung when you put 50 pounds of gear on the back and you're
Yeah.
trying to do a DDR.
Yeah.
So I got a Race Tech 6.0, whatever. I got a heavier spring for the back, and I just got it on just before it got dark right now. I'd spent the day riding around on the stock spring, playing with suspension settings. And so if you want some advice, if you want to adventure on your 450L, if you crank the preload all the way up until there's no more threads left, or actually all the way down, it actually works pretty good. But then once you take your luggage off your bike, it's total crap. It just
Yeah.
rides horrible.
Can you get one of
So-
those the adjustable preloads? I have that on my 690.
Yeah, see, I don't have a KTM, so nobody loves me. I've got a Honda.
There's really nothing. There's no aftermarket part with like an easy preload adjuster.
I've been looking. I haven't found one specific to the CRF, and I think maybe that's part of the problem. The other part of the problem is the CRFs now, like the 2019, 2020s, they've changed enough stuff that they're a little different. So a lot of the older suspension parts don't necessarily work, especially in the back.
Right.
But I haven't been able to find something. So if you guys find something, post it up or
No,
something.
I have a feeling I'm going to be
or
picking
whatever.
your brain. We're just
Okay.
starting
So yeah, that's
to really announce this yet on social or anything, but Mosko and Upshifter. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but Mosko and
Yeah.
Upshifter are teaming up for a bike build on the CRF 450L.
Ooh.
And I just took delivery of the bike last week. So
Okay.
super excited to get that started. And beginning with suspension actually, but I'm not doing the suspension work myself. We're sending
Okay.
that out to Conflict down in Austin, and Alex is going to get all that
Right.
done. So
Well, very cool.
We have so many. So Ashley is on a 450L. Andrew is my business partner is on a 450L.
Yeah.
Lee, our engineer and operations manager, he's on a 450L. And we have a 450L company bike. So we have 4 450Ls at Mosko.
it's a
I-
Mosko favorite.
I love it. I mean, I know I've been watching you guys when you did your Alpine Loop, or did you do the whole Colorado BDR? Or you just did the Alpine Loop part?
Came in halfway and kind of did the passes. We came
Okay.
in halfway through the loop. Yeah, we didn't do the whole thing. We started halfway through, and then we just did like all those big high rocky passes, the kind of
Okay.
the best of sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
finished with Imogene.
Very
which-
cool.
yeah.
And we almost did. We were so on the fence. John, have you done Black Bear Pass?
I have not. I
Uh,
have not. That's the
Yeah.
one I have not done yet.
that was the big debate. Like, I'll never
Right.
forget that morning around, camp was kind of quiet, a little somber. Everybody's like packing up slowly,
Yeah.
like you can hear little chatters going on. Like, are we gonna do that thing? And we ended up deciding not to do it, to save it for another time. But
Okay.
It's always a little tricky on company trips, because it's like we have it really fundamentally it's like a team building exercise. We have a lot of like differing skill levels and stuff like that.
Right.
We really don't want people to get hurt because it is kind of a company event. It's not just,
Right.
it's different from like going out riding, it's not quite like, oh, everyone's on
Right.
their own, it's like we're all trying to make good decisions as a group. And I think the good decision that day, I feel good about it, was not to do it, right? Because if someone gets
Okay.
hurt, it's a bummer,
Yeah.
That's a good pass to do your company team building. You'll
was
know who the cheerleaders are, and who the cheerleaders aren't.
Yeah.
yeah, Sarah, tell us about Imogene.
Oh yeah. Oh great. Yeah. Well, that one, I finally got my ass fully handed to me on Imogene for sure. I mean, that was really, just I was on a 250, so just pinned in first gear, trying to like get up these little baby heads and stuff. But yeah, just like whiskey throttled around this corner up onto this like side hill and was like, how did I get here? And then bailed off the bike and then turned around and the bike fell right on me.
Oh,
So just a complete mind fuck after that of just trying to like, realizing that I still had to go down for another like hour and a half or 2 hours. And yeah, that was a good full like, okay, level 2. You are now at another like there's a certain graduation level of like fear and like learning that happened for sure. But
it was a very dramatic crash. We watched it happen, and she sort of disappeared from view and then shot up this embankment on the side of the road and shot up, fell off the bike. The bike continued up the embankment and then flipped over backwards and landed on her. And we thought, oh man, this is like, there's no way to walk away from that.
That's it. A bent key. That was all that happened to my bike.
wow.
From like probably a 15-foot like fall, and then thank God I had like hardcore like the CD moto boots on because those totally saved my ankle. But yeah, it was stunning. Loved it.
Hard to bounce back from a crash like that. That's the bit, you're so spooked,
Yeah, I can tell, Sarah, watching you shift from like, and rightfully so, watching you shift from being so in the moment and like on the trip to this place of complete fear, like being consumed by what you just experienced. But you powered through it. You crushed it. We finished.
What are you gonna do? You got to keep going forward.
Hey, Ron, I want to ask you before we sign off, I want to ask a couple of questions. So you said nothing's really changed much for you with work, but like what kind of calls are you guys getting these days? I have one of my best friends is an EMT, and I was talking to her about this the other day. I found it really interesting.
So yeah, work for me is completely different. I dispatch for Pickens County, and if you don't know, Aspen with the 4 mountains, the 4 ski mountains are right here. And we should be at the end of spring break. We should have kids drunk everywhere, but we don't. We have nobody. A town is completely devoid of everybody. Pickens County has asked everybody who doesn't own a first home. So again, it's Aspen. So everybody has 3 homes. One of them has to be in Aspen. Pickens County has officially asked those people to leave the county. A lot of them are very angry. So work volume wise is it's pretty low. It's almost boring. What calls we do get, we're getting a lot of people going a little stir crazy, a lot of paranoid people who, if you don't have a mask on, if you're closer than 6 feet within somebody, they will call 911 on you and expect a police response. So that's gone a little crazy. I mean, we always know when you're in 911 dispatch, you always know who the crazy people in your area are. And I'm finding out there are a lot more crazy people than I thought there were. So that's changed. My career for the most part is trying to get you help. If you need an ambulance, I'm going to get you an ambulance. If you need an officer, I'm going to get you an officer. And now, because of this COVID-19 thing, we have a list of questions we have to ask people who are officers and our ambulance crews might actually have to come in contact with.
Well, and that's to help them so they know how much PPE to have when they arrive, right? Because that's not something you do after the fact. You need to be prepared upon arrival.
Correct. Or if it's the type of case that could be handled over the phone,
right,
or video chat, or even through Facebook, we encourage them to do that. So for me, my job has changed a little bit in that instead of just what's your problem, I decide who's the best to help you, and then I send them. I'm now not necessarily talking people out of getting help, but trying to find alternate ways that they can get the help they need. Obviously, if you need an ambulance, you're going to get an ambulance. I just have more questions to ask you than normal. And the same things goes with a police response. So that is really weird. My job is super easy. You have a problem and I try to help you solve it. And now you know, you have a problem and I've got to think about how can I solve this without you actually interacting with the public or with an
Yeah.
officer or with an
It's
EMT
really,
crew.
you have to
So
be a lot more creative, huh? Yeah, it's interesting.
you do. And I don't necessarily, I mean, I love being creative, but not at my job. I like black and white. You have this problem, you get this solution, and we're done and I'm off and I'm on to the next phone call or dispatching to the next whoever.
Mhm.
So
Gosh, and then it's crazy because if you peel back the layers on that situation, like why you're having to make all of these micro decisions within getting people help, it's because of the lack of resources or the lack
It
of
is.
personal protective equipment. We're
It
really
is.
having to like ration even in this way of dispatch, you know, making decisions on important versus urgent and if there are workaround solutions. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the one ambulance service has, I think, 12 EMT paramedics for the organization. So if one gets coronavirus and he gives it to, I don't know, technically it's supposed to be like 80% spreadable. That's the wrong word. You know, if you ever watch the videos, you know I'm bad with words. But if
By
if
the way,
I send
on that topic, thank you, John, for all of your effort. That is like so badass that you
Oh.
are so public with your opinions and that you review things so openly. It's really, really awesome. Thank you for that.
Seriously.
You're welcome, and thank you for watching. And I apologize for all the stuff I can't say right.
No, it's great.
All the words I screw up.
Good.
But back to the with the ambulance crew. So if we send a crew of say 2 or 3 to a house and they get infected and they infect just 2 other people, that's a third of the workforce gone that can't respond to any calls. So we're really taking this serious when it comes to especially the ambulance crews and our officers too.
Man, thank
But
you. So
anyways, so that's what's changed at my job. It's really quiet, but when it's not, it's not a black and white job anymore. It's a lot harder than it used to be.
I've heard
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, well, I was just gonna say, you know, I have a good friend in Durango, Cortez, and she was telling me through a friend of hers that lives in Telluride that Telluride, they got everyone that was an actual resident of Telluride tested.
Oh,
And
that'd be awesome.
because there's no hospital in Telluride and there's lots of money, so they can all afford the testing, but they got everyone in Telluride testing, and then they had the an actual task force come out, and they were anyone that was coming into town that was not a resident turned away, just like
Yeah.
that. They basically completely quarantined the whole town because there's no hospital there. So to your point of this workforce,
Right.
how quickly it can be eradicated was pretty
Right.
astounding. So really interesting. Thank you though, because that's pretty
Oh.
seriously, yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
awesome.
It sounds like your work is
Just
much
what I
more
do.
mentally taxing right now than normal. So, and that's a lot
yeah,
of people.
It
Yeah.
can be. It can be. And like I said, on vacation, you can't go anywhere because Moab shut down. So.
Totally. Well, okay, so that's my last question before we sign off here.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you going to ride when you can? What's your first destination? Where are you headed?
Well, I've put in for vacation at the end of the month. I don't know that I'll get it. But if I do, I'm going to do the Arizona BDR.
Cool.
So I'm going to do that. And my wife is actually going to meet me somewhere on the Arizona-Utah border. And then we'll figure out where we're going to go from there. But then we'll kind of do a dual thing. I'll have the bike. She'll be in the taco.
That's
And
awesome.
I don't know where we're going from there. But if I can get vacation, that is the first thing I'm going to do. The first place I'm going to go.
How much time? How much time will you take?
I'm hoping for a week and a half. I'm sure I could do it much faster than that. And one of my projects is I want to do the Colorado Backcountry Discovery Route over again, and see if I can get an FKT on it. I don't actually know what the FKT is, but so don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody this. I want to be the first one. I want to do it in under 24 hours, the whole thing.
Oh,
So,
neat.
but first I need to get through Arizona, and
Okay,
I've done
well,
half of Utah.
we
so-
Yeah.
But anyways,
Right
Hey,
on.
John, great to see you. Thanks so much
you
for joining.
too. And thank you guys too for this. This is awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
this is a lot of fun.
You're welcome.
Thanks, John. It's good to see you, man.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, and then there were 3.
Hey, guys.
Sarah, dude, thanks for joining us. This
It was
is
so fun.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So we'll see everyone again on Thursday at 7 p.m. And thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties tonight. And of course, this will be posted up on YouTube to live there. So hopefully we
Yeah.
don't do anything too stupid or talk about the orgy dome for too long.
Oh my God. That was a
Peace out.
Thanks, everyone, for being part of it. Bye.
secret.